I'm Cathy Palmer, and today we're going to go through a workshop that talks about positive approach to care. And today's topic is aging versus non-aging, and the difference in what that looks like. So we're going to start with a video.
What we're going to talk about now is the difference between normal aging and not normal aging. Now understand, I did not say dementia, I just said normal aging, not normal aging, because one of our big misconceptions in this country is that it's not normal aging, it's going to be dementia. And that's not true. So we've got to get that one off the table. So what I'm going to do very quickly is give you two quick little role plays that are going to take you through normal versus not normal. So I'll do normal first. I'm in the living room, and I've been watching a TV program, and the program finishes, and I decide, you know what, I'm thirsty. I think I'm gonna go make a pot of coffee. And I head toward the kitchen to make coffee. But before I get all the way to the kitchen, the telephone rings. And so I answer the telephone. Hello? Oh, hey, sweetheart. How you been? Well, yes, of course I know who it is. It's, right on the tip of my tongue, starts with B. Betty, of course it's Betty, sorry. Recognized your voice right away, just couldn't think of your name. Yes.
I've thought a lot about this because I experience it, and I think it's because at a certain age you've got so much information and you've met so many people and you've done so much that your brain cannot hold every single thing, so it lets some things kind of fall away.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And something you'll learn in the videos too is that a normal aging person should be able to hold 5 to 8 pieces of information in their head at one time. So if you can hold 5 pieces of information in your head at one time, you're doing great. And again, that's just all part of normal aging. So, did you notice, how was your reaction when you were watching the video? Like, did you start laughing, or did you get anxious yourself when you saw what Tifa was doing and thought, oh my gosh, I do this myself?
Oh yeah, well, I was laughing because I was like, I'm right there with her. Yes. Yeah.
And for many people, they become anxious when they see these things because they think, oh my gosh, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
And you're really not. It's just part of that normal aging process. Tifa will tell us that usually around the age of 40, you start seeing the slowing of the brain and not being able to juggle so many things in your head at one time and being able to carry out those things. So some of that memory loss does come, but it's all normal. Nothing to worry about at this point.
Luckily, none of us are there yet.
Yeah, exactly. Now what happens is when you cannot start remembering things, you develop, you've got this stress hormone, it's called cortisol. And when you start panicking, when you're in that overwhelming state, when you're anxious, when there's anxiety, your cortisol starts to shoot up, okay? So your cortisol starts to shoot up, and that's your stress hormone. And it kind of gives you that scary feeling like, oh my, I cannot remember, what I'm supposed to do. So when the brain gets anxious or nervous, it dumps that cortisol, a stress hormone, in your system, okay, which causes you to become even more distressed and your brain not able to work as well as it does. So what I want us to do is I want us to practice taking 3 deep breaths together and letting them out, and let them all the way out, all through your belly. Another one in. And another one out. And one last one. In. And out. And what that does is it helps your body relax, kind of helps you maintain that focus again, gets you restarted so that you can move on with your day. Okay? All right, I'm going to show you the next part of our video here. Tifa's wonderful.
Okay, so here we go. Hand up. Human beings have 5
So I want you to do what Tifa does on the video.
out there and get together. 5 ways to take data from the world around you and put it in here so you can use it. You can process it, you can understand it, you can appreciate it. So the number 1 way, notice how it's separated from all the others. It's special. Do this, be an artist. Visual data.
Visual data.
is the
So
most
it's the first way we
powerful
take in
data. It's what
information.
human beings
Visually.
prefer, and it is what they want first in any way of collecting data. They want to see something first. It allows them to see it, and then they can start to think about what they want to do next. But what you see is the most powerful sensory input that you're going to get in your brain. But here's the interesting thing about vision. Show me what you see. Point to what you see.
What do you see with your
Here's
Eyes.
what I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
put your hand back here, this is where you process in your brain what you see. So brain activity in the occipital area, the back of your brain, is where you process visual input. There's a little bit of distance there, isn't there? What connects the input system to the processing system is wiring. And in dementia, all wiring goes on the fritz and then dies. Just so you know. So there's a lot of wiring here, it's complicated wiring, it's actually fairly complicated, because how many eyes do you have? Two, so you've got to take in data from two eyes, integrate those two pieces of data, process it, and then make sense of it. So all that's happening in the back of your brain. I'll show you in a few minutes, there's a huge amount of your brain devoted to visual processing, it's huge. There's also wiring between what you see and some other parts. Second way that you get data in your brain, your indexing. Oh, look at how it points to things. What you hear, auditory incoming. Auditory data is the second most important way that human beings get data into their brain. Auditory. But if you hear a sound off to the side, what will you immediately do?
look?
Look. Because this is primary. This just alerts you to go look and see what it is you want to see. So when it comes to dementia, visual than auditory. People with dementia pay more attention and are getting more value out of what they see than what they hear. This is secondary, this is primary. Guess what caregivers like to do a lot of? Do this. Y'all love to run your mouth. You think they're paying attention to what you're saying. What they're doing is watching you when you're saying it. They're picking up on your visual cues, but they're missing the content cues. Do this.
That makes sense for a
So
lot of our
take
folks.
a weapon and be
I mean,
ready.
completely.
Put it to your head and
Yeah.
pull the trigger. Because what happens is we think they're processing what we're giving them verbally, and what they're really processing is how we look visually and how we sound, but not necessarily the content.
So that
And
body
because
language
we're
is
not on the
what
same
we're doing.
page, they're not getting this, they're getting this, we think they're getting this. This is not gonna match. Who has to change? We do, so we have to use less of this and start with this, and learn to use visual more than auditory. Third way you get data in, auditory, put your hands right here. Your temporal lobes. Both sides are involved, but they're very different. This side is very different than this side. How many ears do you have?
2.
All forms of dementia, all forms attack the brain asymmetrically. It means it attacks one side of the brain more than the other. That's how it works. It hits one side and then it spreads more. So what happens in general, the left side of the brain is generally attacked sooner and faster and more devastatingly than the right side of the brain. We don't know exactly why, but most patterns of dementia attack, we're gonna see more on the left than on the right. Left, right, language areas, but they're different. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Third way that you get data in your brain, take that middle finger, drop it down, and touch it to the back of your hand. Now, this is actually complicated, and this is one of the most complicated, and it also takes up a lot of brain space. This is sensory motor. You feel something, you do something, you do something, you feel something. They're wired together, so that when you feel something, if you like it, you do more of it. If you don't like it, you stop doing it. So when you feel something, you do something to change or encourage or facilitate what you're feeling, and if you don't like it, you don't do it anymore. Here's the biggest challenge of dementia care. Turn to the person next to you.
So you guys can just work together, yeah.
All right, now what we're gonna do is eliminate vision and we're not gonna talk. Okay, so we're taking away two of the ways that you would normally be able to get data into your brain, and I'm just gonna use that third way. Go ahead and do that so you get the feel of what it feels like when you're doing this. So you can already tell that it's a really good one to start with, because most people are not fond of the idea of starting an interaction like this. And I do this particularly so you'll start to get the idea, no touching until you've done a visual verbal, and only then are you allowed to do the touch. You gotta make sure they come together. So here's what we're gonna do. You close your eyes. People with dementia, put your hands behind your back, because I want you to feel incredibly vulnerable.
All right, I'll have to.
That's what this disease does, it robs your skills, so you suddenly are pretty vulnerable. And you thought you were confident, Okay, so caregivers, here's what you're gonna do, you watch me and do to them what I do to my person.
Here, Susan, you can.
Okay, y'all
I'll
should
be
have
your
your eyes
caregiver.
closed, there should be no peeking. Notice how many of you opened them up to see what I was up to. Yeah, they're sneaky like that. Okay, you ready? We're gonna use these. Okay, you ready?
Close your eyes, Susan. Okay, Carly.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
And now, one more.
Stop, yeah. One more.
Now, I'm gonna pause here.
Okay, so we're gonna pause here. So,
That was weird.
yeah, and it
That
is
was-
weird, isn't it? Because, you know, like Tifa was saying, a person with dementia, they're, you know, they learn first with their vision, because of that visual connection, and then auditory. But when that loss of sight is not there, and people are touching them, it freaks you out. So let's try this one more time. So I'll be your partner. Can you be Shelley's partner?
Yeah.
Okay, so you two, hands behind your back.
Ugh.
Okay. And
Can
Carly
we
and I.
switch roles with them?
Yeah,
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 there you go.
yeah,
Let's
sure.
do that.
Okay.
Because
So
I want to know
Susan-
what it's like to be.
You come up. Uh-huh. I'll switch with you. You
All
go
right.
behind me.
Yeah, behind.
So hands behind your back, okay? Close your eyes, Carly.
I'm sick.
It's okay. And then you guys go ahead and approach us and start touching. See? Yeah, it's like it's not comfortable.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, good. So,
That was really weird.
how did it make you feel, first of all? How did
I
that make
didn't
you
like
feel
it.
when somebody else was touching you?
Right, you don't
Yeah,
like it,
yeah,
it's
we
like
don't like it.
invasion of your
But
space.
your space, that's it.
Especially when you can't see.
Yes,
You feel like you have no control over
Yeah.
it.
right, exactly, good. What did you find yourself wanting to do when somebody was touching you?
Like
It's
move.
I want to hit.
Swat at them. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
a normal reaction for somebody with
Yeah.
dementia. So you really gotta think about things. Why do you think it felt the way it did? What made you, like, why did it feel the way it did? Why did you cringe?
One thing I
Why did
couldn't
you?
see,
Yeah.
and if you can't see, you don't have the control, and then,
Yeah,
I don't
and then
know.
what ends up happening is what? That cortisol.
Your anxiety.
Your anxiety starts to shoot up again, and that cortisol level goes really high. Very good. What do you think you would say or feel if you had dementia? So if this were to happen to somebody with dementia, how do you think they would feel, or what do you think they would say?
stop. Or
Stop! Do you think they would swat?
Swat, push
Yeah,
away.
I think they do a lot of swatting, pushing away. Stop it.
Mhm.
Become very angry and frustrated.
Yeah.
So it's true, and I love this saying, it's true a lot of times that, is it true that we often do to rather than do with to get the task done? And a lot of times, I just think we're so busy in our lives that we just do for people instead of do with them. And for a person with dementia, it's very important that you do with them and not for them, okay? We're not subtracting anything out of their life, we're not adding anything, we're there to support them.
So how would you approach them? Like if they can't see or they can't hear,
Mhm.
and you were a caregiver, how would you handle getting things done? Do you
Yeah,
know,
but-
do you understand my question?
Yeah, if you can't hear and you can't, I mean, that's a difficult question. You know, it's something I'm still learning to figure out myself, so, let's watch more of the video and then hopefully that'll help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to your question.
How many of you found at some point who were being touched, your eyes flew open? How many of you realize you have a really hard time not going, wait a minute, hang on there? Now, what I want you to do right now is touch yourself where we just touched you.
So go ahead and
Go ahead
touch
and touch
yourself
yourself.
where you were touched,
Yeah, that's okay.
and how does that feel?
Fine.
A lot better.
Does that feel a lot better?
Yeah, because you're in control and you know.
Exactly.
And it's
so-
your
You know,
comfort
and it's
zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when you're touching yourself, you're in control, it's comfortable, you know your body, it's not some stranger coming up to you trying to touch you yourself. So from somebody coming up behind you and touching you, you not knowing, and then yourself touching, you touching yourself, how is that different? How is that the same?
Because you're in control, not them, and then also you know where you're going to be touched, because you're doing it to yourself.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
I guess you could say,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that kind of explains why it makes it feel different,
Mm-hmm.
because you're in control, which is important. And for a lot of people with dementia, they're not in control,
No.
and that's why we're there to support them.
How many of you feel that that feels different than when we touched you?
Mhm.
Yeah, because if you are doing it yourself, you're actually sending and receiving, and it's a closed circuit.
Mhm.
However, when we do to you, it's an open circuit, and for your brain, we eliminated the knowledge of where and when the touch was gonna occur, and so your brain was going, oh, 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 oh. It was a hyper alerting, and let me tell you something that we don't think about touch, light moving touch. Light moving touch, cockroaches
Oh.
on your skin, clothes rubbing across.
I just got the chills from that.
Light moving touch is an alerting, arousing touch. It's the hyper alert kind of thing. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. Because it says something's coming and you don't know what it is. And so what happens when we put our hands on people, even lightly, so you touch them lightly and say, wake up, sweetheart. Boom! Because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is have you try something a little different. And we'll really work on this skill this afternoon, but I want you to test drive the model and see if it makes a difference. Okay? I want you to shake hands with the person. Now, I want you to tell me for a second, what's the most common contact we have with other human beings when we're greeting them and interacting with them? Hand contact, right? So shake hands, and notice the next thing you're gonna wanna do is like up. Up. Well, that's a bit of a problem. Because I want to stay connected, because I want to keep the touch so that you'll know what I'm going to do. But the problem is when I lose skill and keep strength, and I like pressure, go ahead and do it. Ow! Wait, Mom, let go, let go, what are you doing? Okay? Or if they feel like I'm trying to hold on to them, okay?
And
So
we're gonna
what
practice this
do is
together.
as soon as we shake, where did I tell you found comfort? So what we're gonna do, and I don't wanna trap your fingers. I wanna leave your fingers free. I want my fingers free, but I wanna be connected to you. So what I'm gonna do is slide like this. Do this, open your fingers up, both of you. Open your fingers up. Make them go like this. You should feel like you've created a bird, a butterfly. You're connected, but you're free to move. Close them down. They can hold on to you. They can use strength, they might use skill. It's comforting because you got pressure down there at the palm. And here's the really cool part. Hold on to them with your strength fingers, and you still can use your skill fingers. How cool is that? And you turn it so you're underneath, which gives the sense of, I'm here to support you and help you,
Mhm.
not to try to keep you from doing things. Okay?
Okay,
Cool.
so we're gonna try that.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's very neat how supportive that is.
Mhm.
Okay, so, you wanna partner with Susan this time, Shelley?
Sure.
Okay, now partner with Carly. So let's stand up.
Alright.
Okay, so we're gonna focus on, you're gonna reach out like you're handshaking, okay? Come around, but leave those fingers
Oh, yeah.
open.
Who's
to
the
where-
caregiver?
I'll be the caregiver this
Okay.
time, okay?
And you can be, I'll be the
Yeah,
caregiver.
support.
You're the person with dementia. So leave that butterfly hand out,
Okay.
okay? Remember, these three right here
Are your skills.
are your
thing.
skill fingers. These
Yeah.
are your strength fingers,
Yeah.
okay? So what you can do is take your strength fingers, leave
Mhm.
those skill fingers loose
Mhm.
to kind of get your grasp there, okay?
Right. I was using.
Before you close.
Right.
Yeah. And they will always be on top,
And then,
you'll be on bottom,
Yeah.
and then you can support right here and give them a little extra pressure if they need that, okay?
Cool.
What you can also do is while you're in this stance, you can kind of support from behind as well.
Mhm.
Okay, and this is called hand under hand. So everything we're gonna do together, and we're supporting each other, everything we're gonna do together, they're in control, they're on top.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
I like that.
good, yeah.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
It does, it makes a lot of sense.
Would that work for signing in here at ESL?
Yes, in fact, I, already have a video on YouTube with that.
Oh, good.
I actually took, TB and
Yeah,
you know how she spells her letters out
yeah.
loud, but I did hand under hand with her. So she was on top of me with the pen, I was underneath, but I was doing the writing, but she was still in control.
That's cool.
You know, and gives them that sense of independence
Mhm.
and what they need. Okay, let's keep going.
Now, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna lay your other hand on top of the back of their hand. You try this. Get them to, oh, now this is an interesting phenomenon. The oldest sensory motor tract in the human brain is eye hand. It is the one that develops first. Put a baby, sit it up at 3 months. What will happen if you let go? Down it goes. It doesn't even have trunk control. Doesn't have head control. But if you lay it on its back, so it doesn't have to do a whole lot of work, and you put the dangly crap down, right in the middle of the ring.
I love her.
Me too.
They're fascinated by it, because they like to see it. And then they're just starting to learn how to do some of this stuff. So they're not very good at it, they don't have skill, they just have some strength. They're learning how, and they're learning to move against gravity. And so, and you can watch it when they get it, it's like, look what I did! Did you see it? I have control! And suddenly their excitement builds because they have the feeling that they control the world. Oh. So what we're gonna do, that's the oldest, most primitive sensory motor system in the brain.
The hand
It's the one that is
coordination.
gonna prevail the longest through the end of this disease. It'll be the last one I lose. I hand. But I'll lose skill.
Skill before strength,
Wow.
okay? Yeah. And skill before strength. Okay. So, what we're gonna do here, let me see where I'm at here, you all, is, we're going to stand up one more time, okay? We're gonna do the hand under hand one more time. But this time, the person with dementia, who wants to be the person with
I'll be
dementia?
dementia.
Okay, you'll be dementia. And you'll be the person with dementia. We're gonna do the hand under hand, but this time what you're gonna do is the person with dementia is gonna look away. So as we do the hand under hand in that supportive role, you're gonna look away. What we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our top hand down, place it on top. That's where you give that little extra pressure. And hopefully, because remember our two senses that are the strongest are that visual and auditory. When somebody touches you, what's your reaction gonna be? If somebody touches you, comes up to touch you,
Or to look
usually
at
you're
them.
gonna look at them,
Mhm.
or look where they're touching. Okay, so we're gonna practice that. So we're gonna go in, okay, hand under hand, do your stance,
Yeah.
your supportive stance. Okay, so Carly, you look away,
And then I'll
okay?
look away and then
So if I needed your attention a little bit more, bring your top hand, Susan, there you go,
Hello.
on top.
Hi.
And do a little press.
Yeah, 'cause I'm.
And see, you look down, right where I was pressing.
I cleaned my bathroom.
You did clean
You
your
look
bathroom.
pretty.
Good job, thank you. Okay. So, your eye automatically draws to that hand, and then you're in control together.
But here's the really cool part about human beings. How cool is this? Visual, motor.
So go ahead and do the actions there.
Watch.
Yeah, visual mode.
She's here, she's looking around. So let your partner look around for a second. They're distracted, the world's really interesting, they're excited. Wow, how cool is this? Take your other hand, lay it gently on the back, and give a pump in the hand. And no matter what they're doing, they will pause, they will look at the hand, and they will look at you. Let them look away. Pause. Give them a chance.
She cracks me up. Yeah, she's a good.
Because when your hand touches something, your eyes want to see what it is. When your eyes are looking at something, it will also draw your hands. That's the other bad news. So what their eye sees, their hand wants to touch. And you're surprised when they start doing it. Well, you're the one that said, exactly. You put it right where they can see it, within arm's reach, and they're going, okay, look, goodies. On the other hand, if I do this, no matter what she's doing, she's going to notice me. Once I've got her looking at me,
Lady's so funny. So they're still supporting each other, but Tifa's in control, and that's what's so neat.
Mm-hmm.
she travels with me. So her brain is both getting and giving.
Mm-hmm.
I've reestablished the two parts of the loop so that she is doing with me, I am not doing to her. And she can give me feedback. I'm liking this scared me, this was okay. Take more time here, but this was fine. Did she give me all that feedback? Yeah, we're talking to each other without words. Because what I'm doing is using what she has left to help me communicate with her with the way that she can get the communication, as opposed to overwhelming her system with data.
Cool.
Okay? So with your partner, I want you to give that a try. Feel the difference between touching with versus touching someone.
Okay, so we're gonna practice that, okay? We're gonna practice both scenarios there.
Are you
So
do you still
again-
have dementia?
Sure.
Okay.
So again, come on into your supportive stance, okay?
You're looking away.
And Shelley and Susan, can I have you turn this way so I
Oh,
can see you?
okay.
There we go. Good.
Oh.
Wait
Wait a minute, so,
we're
oh, sorry,
facing
should
each
I,
other.
should I do it with this hand?
Yes, because
Yeah,
you're on
okay,
top now.
okay, okay.
Because you need to be your right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine.
okay. Now, if the person with dementia was looking away, so look away again, Carly, like you're not, okay?
Yeah, see, it
Good, we bring our hands in, okay? And this can, go ahead and try with your partner, you can kind of put your hand on their back and you can start walking with them.
Let's
Okay.
walk over here.
If if you're talking to them, you want them to
Where are we
look
going?
away
Let's
again.
go this way. We're gonna go over here and sit down.
So I'm gonna go ahead and stop, apply that pressure. And then go ahead and go, let's go this way, Carly. Good job. Okay, I'll walk her back to her chair. Okay, good job. Much different than coming and picking on somebody, they have no control. Okay, there's a whole different stance there, much more supportive, so very good. Okay, couple of questions for you. Does it feel different, in the two different scenarios? How does it feel different for you? One not having any control, the other one having control. How does that feel for you?
Because you feel like you're more supported, and I mean, I don't know, I guess, I don't know how I'm trying to say this.
Yeah, you
just
do.
get-
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
when you have dementia, it seems to be frightening.
Yes.
Because you're not sure what's happening and you're feeling these things, and to have someone there that's not grabbing you and pulling you like, come on, let's go, but they're
It's a
Mhm.
support
Supporting.
system.
just
Yeah, right.
supporting
Supporting,
you, so you
yeah.
still feel like,
But you also
Like
feel like
you're
you're still in control.
Right.
Because you're able to.
Right, exactly. Just like, Susan has a pen here. Susan couldn't write because she has dementia. I can do the same thing. I can pull my chair, okay, over to Susan. And I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna greet first and say, hey Susan, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. How you doing today? I'm gonna help you write today.
oh, please.
Yeah. So again, Susan's on top, okay? Susan's on top, all right? And what I'm gonna do, again, your skill fingers
Mhm.
are here, so I've got my skill fingers. I can come down, Susan. I can grab,
Mhm.
okay? And then we can start writing together. And we're still being supportive, we're supporting that person.
You're
Where
working
is my
with,
hand?
We're in
you're
control.
doing with.
Yeah,
Mhm.
your hand should be on
My
top.
hand should be-
So let's do that again.
Mhm.
we're probably doing the wrong hands, aren't we?
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's
There.
much better,
Okay.
yeah. So again, what I could do is use my skill, even though I'm on my left, which is not
Yeah.
my normal side, I could use my skill fingers
Mm-hmm.
to do the writing with you,
Okay,
okay?
so you're doing with,
Yes.
which is form, yeah,
Yes.
and two.
It's all about that
Right.
partnership and being supportive, yeah.
Very good, cool.
Okay. How many minutes is that so far, Bruce?
28,
Wait,
but that's just on my camera. You have more on yours.
okay.
All right, so you're starting to get a sense of this. That kind of assistance has a term, and the term I've given that kind of assistance is hand under hand. It denotes the position of my hand. My hand is under yours. My hand is there to support yours. You're the boss. I'm here to help. I'm here to guide. I'm here to assist. I'm not here to take over and try to do things to you. I want to do things with you. Because I know if I can get your brain to understand what I'm doing, you're going to cooperate. You can give me feedback even when you can't speak anymore. You can give me feedback that doesn't result in me getting hit. We can figure out ways to share information because I'm paying attention to what you're able to do. So I'm going to show you where this data gets processed in your brain. It's huge. Do this. The entire top surface of your brain is devoted to sensory motor. Sensation and movement, and they are, do this, hardwired together. What you feel drives what you do. What you do drives what you feel. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there is wiring between what you see and what you do. And there is wiring in a normal brain between auditory processing and sensory motor processing. So if I were to say for you, or to you all, stand up, we're gonna go downstairs, your brain would take in that auditory data, translate that into an action statement, and get your body organized to stand up, and you would even know where we were heading.
That sounds like a
My
couple of our
late-stage
members.
dementia. That's exactly what people with dementia hear when we try to give them auditory data. They lose the
Yeah.
contact, they keep the rhythm, and they can't figure out what we're trying to get them to do. And it's not because they're not trying, and it's not because we're not trying. It's because we're using the wrong system for what they have left.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, that's really,
Yeah. The wrong system.
So the other two,
Okay, and we're gonna stop there, Bree. Let's stop there.